Hi there, this is Michelle, and thank you for joining me for this process video. My layout today is using the limited edition kit from My Creative Scrapbook. I believe it was February, and my main focus, at least to start with, is going to be the cut file that came with it, which is a pear tree cut file. And my idea is to fill this heart um, with petals from the flowers or some of the flowers that come with the kit. And so I backed it with, or I cut out a white heart as a backing, and I'm gluing some petals to it. I'm going to also add some of the little flowers that I use my crocodile to cut off their wires up in one of the corners. And so this kit is really, really pretty. It's one of my favorites, and so it has a lot of simple stories, love story, and so I've used some of it already for one of my mom's wedding pictures, and this one is going to be for another wedding picture. So it's nice and floral and romantic. And so I am going to just use some glue real lightly because I'm a little nervous as far as how this is going to attach with those petals, but I'm able to lift them and get it in there without too much bother, just a little bit of a trim necessary. So I choose this floral paper and I choose the picture that I want to use. I'm trying to decide if I am going to tear the paper and do some mixed media below, but instead I leave the paper as is, and I'm just going to lighten it up with some modeling paste. And so I have a floral pattern there, going to use towards the bottom, and then I'm going to do a layer up in the top corner because that's where my embellishment clusters primarily are going to be. So taking another look, making sure everything's going to fit the way I want to. It is a 4x6 photo. I usually use 3.5 by 5 or smaller. And so I don't have a ton of room up in that corner. So I'm trying to figure out how to make that work. Now I have a bunch of petals that I've taken from my flowers, and that is a great thing about all the flowers you get with the limited edition kit is that it gives you a lot of flexibility, so you can make your florals smaller if you choose and use them in different ways. So I had put some gold um, ink pad on some of the edges of those petals so it looks a little bit more aged. And then I mount up my title here with some foam pieces and realized that I wanted to ink up my petals and my flower and my heart. And so I'm doing the best I can with that. It was a little tricky. And so um, yeah, so that's how where I'm at so far. I am going to start working on my layers for my picture. I did put a layer of tissue paper behind it. Now I'm deciding um, what other layers I want to use. Those big ephemera pieces from Simple Stories, those are great for layering. All your layering is there. You just need to tuck them where you want them. I used one of um, a bit of one of the papers as backing. That's what that kind of reddish piece is. And the pink one is from 49 and Market. It somehow ended up in this little pile and it was the right colors. So I threw that in there. And then I'm gonna mount that up on foam and add those layers to the top and to the bottom after I ink them with a Tip Holtz Distress. I believe it's walnut stain. All right, and so I get all that going. Let's take take a look where we're at. And so then I am going to add some rub-ons. And I'm just going to tuck them where my um, clusters are going to be. The rub-ons aren't going to be very visible. In fact, some of them get a bit hidden. But it's just another piece of depth um, that helps build a layer for those ephemera pieces that will end up on top of them. I'm going to add a bit more through the white textured space here in a moment towards the bottom, some hearts, and then another part of a flower is going to go on the other side of the heart cut file. So that is what is happening now. So this video is going to be a bit longer than I think that I'm normally going to do. There was just so much in this layout, so much detail and such. I wasn't sure what to take out. And so I am inking up just a text stamp. That one is a Tim Holtz, and just slapping it down. Again, where some of my clusters are going to go. I'm using archival ink. That one, let me grab it. That one is Hickory Smoke. All right, and so I did remove the picture. My last video had a bit of glare on the picture, and I wasn't sure if that was happening in this video. So just in case I removed it, it actually ended up, it looked like it was fine, but you never know. So I did remove the photos, and I took the bottom layer off of that flower because it was feeling a little big. Again, there's not a lot of space up in that left-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and adhere my title. So my uh, picture cluster will be adhered and the title will be adhered, and then um, that will give me um, a structure for the rest of what's going to be happening. And so I have that tag that I'm going to tuck underneath. I'm going to lift it a little bit with some foam, and I often do that where I glue down the bottom and lift up the foam piece so it gives some depth, but it isn't putting foam on top of foam on top of foam where it feels like really, really thick. All right, so I have my flowers. So you see I have quite a few petals, as well as some full flowers I'm going to be using. There is green in that paper, so I'm going to go ahead and use these fronds. Um, and I'm going to start playing with making some of those clusters. So some of the flowers are just a bottom layer, so I'm going to have to create a middle for them in the future, so that will be happening. But my idea is for the flowers to kind of have the feeling of petals falling out of an arrangement, or thrown flowers that you would see at a wedding. And so I am going to have a couple of large flowers, just so it's some different sizes, but then I'm just kind of tossing those petals on there because I want it to feel real organic. Um, where they're kind of clumpy, I'm going to break that up a little bit and kind of make sure the colors are maybe not evenly distributed, but so that there isn't anything that really draws your eyes feeling wonky. And then I'm going to go ahead and start gluing those down. Let's see. And some of this, like I said, it felt like it was going to be a really long video, and so some of it is set pretty quick, pretty fast, and so I hope you can bear with that. There's a couple different speeds going on. Um, but I think I am about done gluing some of those petals down. I am, uh, oh, I missed a couple when I did my inking earlier, so I'm catching up on that. And then I am going to, oh, yeah, I need to glue down that frond still, so gonna do that real quick. And yeah, I think a lot of that portion is done once I glue these last few flowers. And then I want to add a little bit to those larger flowers so they're not so solid feeling. I'm going to use some gesso. You'll see me grab a paintbrush here shortly and go ahead and add some white to the petals on those large flowers. Um, yeah. The other thing that you'll see here shortly, there was some gold beads that came in the kit. There was actually a pack that had gold and pearls. And they do have a hole through them if you choose to sew them down, but I'm just going to glue some throughout the flower petals to add a little bit of bling. So I have all of my um, petals with the gesso done, and now you can see I'm adding some of those gold beads through these flowers. Let's see. So yeah, I really enjoyed working with this kit. It's really curated really well. This background paper is, I believe, Memory Place. So there's a few additional pieces in addition to that simple storyline, but it all coordinates together really well. And so I have mostly finished with the flowers, so I'm going to add some ephemera. I added that tag above. I'm going to add some round pieces from the sticker sheet as well. And just so I have a little bit of yellow in the three clusters, as well as a little bit of that pretty sageish green. And as I am going through, just hoping that I can keep everything kind of balanced. I know there's a lot going on, but it is turning out pretty much as I had envisioned in my head. And lots of times I start something and it goes totally in a different direction. But this stayed really consistent, so I was happy with that. I am finding some word stickers from that sticker sheet by Simple Stories, and I am going to figure out which ones I like, and then I'm going to mount those onto foam strips and stick them down. Let's see. I have, oh, I did, if you notice the flowers that didn't have centers, I did find some little flowers to stick in there. And then I have a couple of the little flowers that had come on the wires. I'm adding a few of those over onto that left side. And then here shortly, you can see me starting to put them in now. I took some of that wire and twirled it on just my paintbrush handle, and I'm adding few little curly wires into some of those clusters. Let's see. I think I'm getting pretty close. So I have those down. I'm going to go through and uh, oh, I have just a few more wires I'm working on getting in there. I There's those parts up in the corner on my tray. I am going to take a look at getting, oh, you can see me actually doing one of um, the wires, making it a little curly. Um, so I'm going to adhere those phrase stickers, whatever I haven't done yet at this point. And then oh, the flowers up above, I was starting to mention, I'm going to work those in as well. That's one of the last elements I'm going to do. And I start to play with them here shortly. And they just feel a little flat to me. And that's one thing when you have, a lot of different textures and all that, then it's hard not to want to play and adapt just about everything. And so once I'm through here, I'm going to take those hearts and go ahead and get my craft mat, and I am going to cover them in diamond glaze. And so you'll see a little bit of that here shortly. All right. I think I'm just about done adhering those strips. And I'm going to start looking at those hearts and trying to figure out why I don't like them, because they're beautiful and they should work here. So there's something that I'm not liking, and so um, I'm going to work on those here shortly. Another thing that happens, that for some reason it happens off camera. I don't know if I turned off my phone a little early, but I am going to do some splattering with white paint and a little bit of gold. So you won't see that here in the process, but you will see it in the finished layout and in the details. So all right, I'm figuring out which hearts I think work with the colors that I might be missing or I want to balance the layout with a little bit. And I'm going to get my craft mat and my diamond glaze, and I won't make you watch me filling in every single one, but you'll get the idea here of what I did. Okay, I'm also using diamond glaze to glue down those curly wire sprigs. And we're getting very close to the end here. So thank you for joining me. If you like this video, please hit the like button and you will see the splatters and hearts in the close-ups. Have a great day.